All right, let's talk about Kristi Noem and her husband. So the news has broken the former DHS Secretary, Kristi Noem, who was recently fired and demoted by President Trump, that her husband, Brian Noem, secretly lived a life as an online cross-dresser who was into the bimbofication sub-community or scene. For those of you who do not know, bimbofication is a form of extreme body modification where women want to look essentially like Barbie dolls or Bratz dolls. So it involves facelifts, microdermabrasion, long wigs, high heels, in some cases, extreme plastic surgery. So, extra large breast implants, extra large butt implants, very small waist from liposuction, sometimes ribs are removed, etc. And the entire news media has jumped on this primarily because when you have a Republican Party that's been campaigning the last seemingly decade on being anti-transgender, on being anti-LGBTQ, being anti-quote-unquote men and women's sports, etc., to have a high-ranking government official like Kristi Noem and her husband, we have pictures online of him literally putting large balloons under his shirt, wearing women's clothing, getting his kink on. And I'm here to tell you, I am not here to kink shame anybody. If that's what Byron Noem, if that's what he likes to do in his free time, if he's not hurting any kids, if he's not doing anything against anyone's will, if he's talking to consenting adult women and they're doing consenting adult things in their free time, they're not exposed to the public, that is his business. The bigger issue is the hypocrisy that we're seeing on the GOP, and particularly in the MAGA movement, when it comes to these issues. Because how many government officials in the Trump administration have pictures of them in drag? There's pictures and videos of Rudy Giuliani dressed as a woman. There's pictures of J.D. Vance dressed as a woman. But they still continue to hammer and punch down on the LGBTQ IAPK plus community, because they feel that it's a political punching ball to take a group that is less than 1% of the population and make that the boogeyman. You can be talking about anything. You can say, I'm against the war in Iran. Well, what about the transgenders? You could be saying, well, what about what's going on with the economy and inflation? Well, we don't want boys and girls sports. Well, what are we going to do about the standing of America and our global allies who have now turned against us? Well, at least I can define what a woman is. The GOP has made their entire brand, quote unquote, protecting us from the transgender dangers. But in reality, all they're doing is suppressing a large portion of their own base. There are a lot of gay, lesbian, transgender people who agree with President Trump on immigration, who agree with President Trump on taxes. But they just simply decided that that will be their enemy because it's strange to middle America, folks who have never seen, met, or encountered a transgender person, or anyone who's non-binary or gender non-conforming, and therefore they turn this into the person they have to fear. They are otherizing those groups, as the writer Simone de Beauvoir said in her seminal work Second Sexes, expanding upon the works of Jean-Paul Sartre and even the Kantism from the mid-19th century. So when we're discussing what's going on with Kristi Noem and Brian, what the hell is that dude's name? Noem. Look, if he's doing this stuff and the comfort of his own home, talking to adult women who do this professionally in order to do things that they both enjoy, or they all enjoy, by all means. And I find it additionally ironic because South Park did an entire story arc on this season, that we have MAGA people criticizing Byron Noem for his particular predilections, but the entire MAGA aesthetic is the bimbo aesthetic. There are pictures of President Trump with women who are part of the bimbofication lifestyle. There's a picture of him at Mar-a-Lago with Tammy Hernandez, where these are the people that he likes. If you look at the very famous pictures from Vanity Fair of Caroline Levitt, you can see the spots for the lip injections. You can see the nose job. You can see the large breast implants, the blonde hair. These are the exact same things that MAGA supports, that MAGA makes the general aesthetic of to be at Mar-a-Lago. It's called Mar-a-Lago face for a reason. So if you're going to criticize Brad, what the hell his name is, Noem, You have to understand that this is part and parcel of the artificiality that is rampant among the MAGA movement. It's all about what things look like surface level and not about the actual meat or the policy or what it does for the actual American people. And the same way that the facade that Brad, Billy Noem could not keep his under wraps. We're now seeing that facade of the MAGA movement fall apart as regular, everyday working Americans are paying $4 a gallon for gas. You're paying $5 for a gallon of milk. You're seeing every part of the cost of living that they campaigned against being reversed. You're seeing the being anti-foreign war reversed. You're seeing this focus on America and America first becoming Israel first, becoming the Make Iran Great Again movement, becoming regime change in Venezuela. And this is why I think they've reacted so harshly to this, because it wasn't about what Brian, Byron, Brad, Billy, Bob, whatever his name is, was doing. Is that they have this fear that the rest of them will be exposed for the frauds they are in politics. You can criticize him for enjoying this bimbofication lifestyle, but the MAGA movement has bimbofied our political system.